They seem to be in good spirits. I'm imagining, projecting. Don't really know. One of you want to speak up? No.
Well, Caden said he'll be right
Just
back.
enjoying my late breakfast.
Okay. All right. So
They
just
all
chill.
have the blankest stares on their face.
Right.
They're
all
just
completely
dead inside.
emotionless. They have been zapped of all.
Well,
Daisy actually
Tanya
does
got
have
to them.
Resistance is futile.
Daisy's
was that,
lost
Bliss?
in thought, but she actually does have a stare.
One more time.
Daisy's lost in thought, so she actually does have like a blank facial expression.
The 1,000-foot stare. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So late breakfast, 1,000-foot stare. Lucian is surprisingly flirting with Shayless. I get to say that since he's not here, right? They seem to be
now.
Stop doing this to him.
more.
This is why when I get up and leave my desk, I keep my headphones on.
No, what I mean
How
to say
could
is that the two of them seem to be much friendlier than previously. Not. No, I'm just saying, like, they're clearly getting along, whereas before
they walk away.
Being amicable, you know.
Right.
They're sharing one strand of pasta
Right, of spaghetti.
together.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So, you see that you're missing. Shion and Gib are both missing currently.
Shion? Who's Shion?
Right. All right. Blondie and Gib are both missing currently. Look, he's the only one who hasn't put his name in his freaking thing. So I guess Queso hasn't either, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to forget queso though. Queso's amazing.
Right.
Queso cheese.
Queso is very delicious.
What a name.
Queso is like a superhero.
Yeah, I totally knew that was when I made up the name.
Yeah, and so when you enter, right, Bethania sees you over to your table. She does tell you that she had an interesting conversation with Blondie and Gib. They let her know that you might not all appreciate everything that they do to keep people safe, which again, it sounds like it's very difficult for her to form those words. But she does understand. You can tell that she doesn't understand, but she says that she does.
Perhaps some initial notices would be preferable.
She tells you, and again, she kind of lowers her voice and says that, the whole, can we put this? She says that the whole purpose of this place is to be subtle, right? But she does understand that for a group of your nature, it could be, she realizes that she doesn't know where you come from or what has brought you here or what has made you who you are. And so, your friends did a good job of describing that concern to her. And so she's, she tells you that she has spoken with them and has given them, options that if you'd like to take advantage of, you just say the word essentially.
To allow us to wake if we choose to, or I don't know, decide when I need to sleep.
Your body decides when you need to sleep, is what she says. But I understand what you're getting at. But
if I'm tired and drowning, it is not the time to sleep.
Bear, were you ever in danger?
It very much felt so.
You can,
and I would just look at Rose.
Falling. You can feel like you're falling in your sleep, but are you? As a child, Is the darkness not scary?
I probably would have been in the back. I wouldn't have been like in the front anywhere. I would have
But-
tried to not made my presence as known. I was just
She
be
doesn't-
listening.
Sure, she doesn't want to argue. She's not. You can tell that she's not interested in arguing. She just she understands that you're upset, and she's trying her best to let you know that she's thinks it
How do you...
unfortunate. She thinks it unfortunate. Can you not hear me, Zaven?
No, I can. I
Okay.
just wanted to ask a question in between
Oh,
for a
okay.
second.
Well, hold on. Let me finish the sentence and then ask away. She thinks it unfortunate that you were upset, but you can tell that she doesn't agree that you were ever in danger. All right, Zaven or Gib, what's up?
When Bethania is already back in the main room, why are Blondie and Gib
Well,
not?
I didn't know whether you guys were staying back up to talk or discuss or whatever. If you want to be down there, that's totally fine.
I would have followed it down.
Okay. All right, no problem. So then everybody's at the table essentially, and so
Actually, I probably would have watched her repair the room and then followed her down.
Okay, no problem. She works with amazing speed and like when it's just the two of you, it's very very obvious that she's operating on a level that's much higher than what a normal halfling could, right? Just from her speed and all that other kind of stuff. So,
And to her last statement,
yeah,
I would just say, well, when I see a trusted companion being bound through strange magics, whether I am actually safe is null.
yeah, she respects the
Like you have marked yourself as the enemy at that
Sure.
point.
And she respects the simplicity with which you choose to act, and she understands that it was. She does say that, as she told your friends, that it was the first time that the situation had ever. It's the first time that she'd ever seen it happen, right? And so she would hope that upon further reflection, you would be able to recognize that no harm was done, but she understands why she's not she wants to make it very clear that she's not upset with you and the decisions that you made, right? But she's also not um it's interesting because like the thought process is that she feels the need to apologize for your experience, but not for the having your best interest in mind, essentially, right? But she understands that the experience that you had was less than stellar, and so she's apologetic about that specifically. But she's still not able to sort of compute the thought that you'd be better off not being safe. That's what she has difficulty with. But it's mostly because she's, almost her entire life has been under the influence of something else, right? So it's just different for her than what it is that you're used to. The freedom of the, wilderness and whatnot.
So can Gip will relay a basic understanding of how the rooms work. Like only we can enter if we don't invite someone, and the rooms will defend us. And basically, if there was any danger, then we wouldn't be sleeping but waking up automatically too. So
I think hearing that, Rose will probably step forward and just apologize for hurting or attempting to hurt her. I only did it because I thought we were in danger and that I wasn't aware that there were all these contraptions set up to for our own safety. So
Yeah.
I assumed that we were in danger.
So, and at the idea, like before you can even like get out the full sentence, Bethania is very much like, "Oh no, dearie, don't you need to understand that she's, she actually kind of says that she's a bit grateful for the experience because it did sort of broaden her perspective in terms of the way people might be. She hopes that you guys can understand that the whole reason why she keeps herself hidden is because um, you know, people in villages of this size aren't necessarily open to the mysteries of the outside world, right? And so it's more of a the only reason why there's not a manual in every room telling you these things is because that could scare people away potentially. And that they would start asking questions that could lead to uncovering her secret. And so she's, you know, um, she really wants you to know that there's absolutely no hard feelings. She's glad that you didn't try and set her on fire. She does say that your
Wait, that
choice
was in
was
my head. I never said I
you,
was going to do it.
well, no, but she knows that you burnt Cal, right? And so she knows
Oh,
that you have the ability to control both electricity and fire. And so she's grateful that you chose the one. She then, indicates to you that it's going to lead to some further experimentation on her part. As far as the interactions of her working with electricity. And so, she's eager to discover, if she can serve food even faster with the right kick. Um, but she wants you to know that there's, no hard feelings whatsoever. And like she said, that she's told your friends that if you want them deactivated, you just say the word and they'll be deactivated. Although, again, she's loath. You can tell that she's loath to do that. Um, but, you know, they've done a good job of explaining to me what your concerns are. And they'd never want, it ruins the entire point for you to feel safe if you don't feel safe while being made to feel safe. So she's, it's kind of one of those,
mm.
loops,
A
logic loops.
paradox.
Yeah, a
Catch
paradox.
22.
Yeah, to where she's like, whatever you are going to feel most safe, even if you're less safe feeling more safe, she'll do that, right? So but more importantly and more to the point, she really wants to make sure that you can tell that she's embarrassed at the idea that you feel the need to apologize. She does that's like she does not want that you to feel that way.
Well, I'm glad that my very rash decision was able to help you uncover some new things that you can work on.
Sure. She understands. And she kind of like when she says that she understands, you feel a, almost uncomfortable that she really understands. Right?
Um, can I make a roll just to that I believe her that she's telling the truth?
Sense
Yeah.
motive.
You can do a deception or perception, whichever one you want to do. If you're looking specifically for lying, I'd do a deception roll. Yep. So you have a you have zero doubt that what she's telling you, she thinks is the truth.
Okay. I don't know about what the group wants to do about what you have set up. Uh, we can discuss and I guess let you know, but just knowing that I think helps us. Uh, just so that we are aware that that's how these things work.
But what she could, what she says is after discussing with your friends, it seems like your biggest concern was that you weren't able to wake them through traditional means. And so if you wanted, she can try to alter the enchantment in such a way that you would be you'd be able to be woken up by each other, right? Or people that you would deem, and you would still sort of maintain the deafness to the rest of the world, but the inside of the room, what you would people who were in the room who were considered the guests of the room would be able to break the sleeping enchantment essentially.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. What happens in situations when the town is under attack and people are sleeping in their rooms? Does the room keep them asleep?
No. If the so when the goblin raid happened just a few days ago, everybody who was asleep at that point, although there weren't many, right? I think there was only 2 people, were immediately alerted and woke up, and it's not like they were told what, but it's basically what happened. And she says, and again, she's whispering all of this to you. It's very clear that she's trying to have these conversations in short little spurts to where she's continuing to serve the rest of the inn. Although it's pretty, it's in between meals right now, and so there's not a bunch going on. Cadence, are you here?
I am.
Okay, she probably would ask you to perform to be a bit of a
Oh,
distraction.
am I in the room? I don't know. I was away for 10 minutes, so.
No, we're not in the room. We're down at the at
In
your
the
table
lobby.
still. Yeah, we're in the main room of the inn. She'd
Eating
ask
area.
you if you're still there. She'd ask you to perform to create a bit of a distraction for her to be able to talk to the rest of you.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Okay. So, with that, she kind of says, that the people were woken up by the screams from elsewhere in the village, right? So as soon as the attacks happened, they were awakened, but they didn't say, "Hey, there's a goblin." They didn't. It would be just like they heard some screaming from outside, right? But because they sensed that there could be danger for them, they were awakened. So she feels, you can tell that she's kind of glowing by that, the fact that it worked as intended, right? Where somebody was potentially in danger and was awoken as a result. Does that answer your question, Rose?
I was muted. Yeah, I think that would be ideal if we could be able to wake each other up. I think that would help.
Certainly. So she's,
I concur.
Yeah, she does say that it will be an experiment. And so she'd at the very least like you to test it if you want to do it this evening. Because she wants to make sure that it's working as intended, because it'll be the first time that she's ever done it.
Okay. We can test it.
Okay. Everybody who's here, go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Sorry, I just got
Oh, it's
back.
a nice one again.
Yeah, it was not terrible.
Is everyone here?
I believe everybody's here right now, yeah.
Yeah, everyone should be.
Sorry.
Unless the letter writing and taking took longer than expected.
What's that?
Unless the letter writing and taking took
yeah.
longer than expected.
Yeah. Wow. Several of you rolled nat 20s. That's interesting.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I
definitely didn't.
Several of you rolled nat 1s too. So that's just
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that was Rakana.
Well, Rakana and Queso are just bumping into each other, trying to figure out where they. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, no. Actually, they're both wrapped. They have the rapt attention of, or they're both rapt. Or Cadence has their rapt attention, where there's completely the rest of the world has fallen away, and they're just sitting there,
Falling in
listening.
love.
Right, exactly. Listening to his dulcet tones. All right, so I need to send this message. Send a couple of different messages. Okay. I think that is yep. Okay. All right. So yeah. Just to kind of recap some other things. Father Xantus is doing his research. Blondie, are you sharing your conversation about Aldrin with the rest of the group?
Yes.
What do you want to tell them?
I want to tell them that Father Xantus said that basically Aldrin is somebody who has a lot of people in his employ, let's say, and that it's not surprising that he figured out what happened. He also said that it's very unlikely that Aldrin was involved in the plot.
Someone who's just very well connected.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe too well connected, but
what is his interest in it then?
Well, Father Xantus said that he's just the kind of person who wants to have a hand in every pie, basically, and using his knowledge as a way of showing that he's powerful.
Yeah,
He's
he
just a
mentioned
busybody.
Well, no, he said that the purpose for him telling you was to let you know that he knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that was supposed to be a secret that involved you guys specifically, right? Because it is pretty that there's two things that are very clear about Aldrin. One is he's a bit of a show off, and two, he is fascinated with Blondie, right? Like those are the two things that you really know for certain Aldrin is, right? Just from the boar hunt to the lavishness of his house is completely different than any other structure in town as far as opulence is concerned, plus the fact that he's got a bunch of servants, plus the fact, like there's all sorts of things that indicate that he's, you know, just kind of like one of the worst people ever, where he's literally just, doing the thing because he can type of situation. But
clout chaser.
yeah, exactly. Right. He's an influencer. No, it's that bad. Right. But basically just trying to, and it's, part of it is, I don't know if Father Xantus may have, what I would say is that maybe there was an inkling that essentially his family used to be more influential than what it is today. And part of what he's trying to do is regain some of that influence. Excuse me.
He's a trust fund kid.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he's the second generation, third generation, semi royalty or whatever you want to call it, whose family has fallen out of favor, but or has come on hard times, and he's trying to rebuild with a silver spoon in his mouth still,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, yeah. And Sheriff Hemlock has left for Magnamar. Where did we leave off with Shalelu? Do you guys remember that?
We talked to her. And then we went on the boar hunt.
Yeah, she gave you like the goblin lore dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think she said that she was going off to do further scouting. Does that sound right?
Right, and both she and the sheriff said something about we should be having an eye on the town.
Right. They asked you guys to maintain vigilance at the town.
Make our presence known.
Right. Just being present would make a difference in terms of overall security.
Which is hard to do when we're forced to sleep.
Well, again, if anybody was in danger, you'd be awoken, which you know now.
Helen Forest.
Yeah.
I got your back.
Right.
Hey.
So, Rose, you notice that it's getting close to dinner time. You see a familiar face enter and then immediately turn around and leave. And the rest of you, Bethania comes out and takes your orders for dinner.
Wait, what?
It was Camden. It was your guard buddy.
Yeah,
but he saw you
Oh.
guys. He just turned around and left.
Oh.
So he didn't want anything to do with us.
Okay.
I guess it's the hagfish again. Just turns around. Yeah. Sounded like somebody else had a question.
Bethania is coming around giving people food?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna grab the edge of her sleeve and pull her towards me. And ask her in a very low voice in the phone. In a low voice that I think only the people around at the table will hear.
Okay.
And say, Bethania, is something all right? I have not seen Amiko. I know she had a bit of an altercation yesterday.
At the mention of Amiko's absence, Bethania says, oh no, everything's fine. She is let's say she's at home dealing with some things. But I expect her back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Bethania.
So she continues. She'll bring out, and again, now that the mystery is kind of broken, as far as the food is concerned, it does taste different. It still tastes good. It's still very refreshing, but it doesn't taste as good. It doesn't, because it's the feeling of food that you've made for yourself as opposed to a loved one has made for you. Right? It's just, even if you've prepared it well, it's not going to taste as good as if somebody else made it for you. But it tastes like you've made it.
Mad.
Exactly. Right. So rather than it being the wonderful meal that your mom's made you, it's just it's a good meal that you've made yourself, but you kind of know what went into it now, and so it just tastes different. Does anybody have anything that they want to do?
Well, at this point, we're just waiting around town, waiting for an update, right?
Yeah, there definitely seems to be, your primary. You can either, try and help Father Xantus in some way, right, with the investigation of the thing. You can do stuff around town if you want to do stuff around town. It's basically a little bit of downtime, right? If you want to do that, if there's any at level 2, if there were any supplies or anything like that that you needed to get, now would be a time to do it.
Sure. I'd like to stop by the arm. I forgot the name of it.
There's a couple.
Sava's Armory?
Talking about like the armory.
Yeah, probably the armory.
There's the Red Dog Smithy, and then there's the Sava's Armory.
Yeah, I'll head to the armory.
Okay. I'm.
Go ahead.
I'm confused about the last 3 gifts, but I guess I'll have to, I didn't really see. I wasn't paying attention when they were coming up, but that's okay. So.
My nat 1 on my perception is what that one's for.
Oh.
If you look at the background.
Yeah, fabulous. Perfect.
That's basically what happened while y'all were sleeping.
Right, exactly.
Kinda, yeah.
Yep, exactly right. Okay, so you're going to go to the armory?
Yeah, and I'm going to inquire about getting some light barding for Smokey.
Okay. So the person behind the counter says, "Excuse me, you need barding for a what?"
It's
Yep.
a young bear.
Good luck with that.
They said, "Well, there's a first time for everything." They seem excited at the challenge. They say, is this a tame? Is this a tamed beast?
And I yell, "Buddy!" and he hops up like hind legs on the counter, like puts his front paws on the counter.
Well, so you say buddy, and you bring them into the store because they're not.
Oh yeah, he's with me.
Okay, I see. So
that's why we went to the forest so I could fetch him.
Okay, so you walk into the armory with a bear, but that's is it 100%. Large at this point, or is it still medium?
No, it's still it's still a young bear. It's not mature yet.
Okay, so when you and the bear enter the store, the shopkeep cowers behind the his desk, the counter. Yep, the counter, and asks, well, what the hell do you think you're doing bringing a bear in here?
This is my buddy.
Can you kind of see some eyes peek up over the counter and, are sizing you up type of situation? You want to give me a diplomacy roll?
This is going to be good. Here we go. Oh, hold on.
I hope so.
Pull this back up.
Okay. So you kind of fumble through an explanation of your relationship with fire. Wait, what's the bear's name?
Smokey.
Smokey, right? Smokey.
How can you forget Smokey?
God, I know. I'm terrible.
Even I remember that, and I don't remember anyone's name.
Right. So, and he kind of creeps up over the counter and sees that the bear is not mauling him or knocking anything over necessarily.
He's just wagging his bushy little tail.
Yeah, so he kind of fascinating. Although you said that you're going to Sava's armory, right? I think
yes.
A female. Hold on. I think this is actually a female. First name, yes, female. Yeah, so it's a female human. Yeah, so she kind of perfect. She comes over and at first is very tentative, but then kind of sticks her hand out to Smokey.
Smokey acts like a dog.
Okay. So
puts
when
his head in the hand and like keeps nudging it.
It barks ferociously and then violently attacks.
Right. So because it's actually Sava is her name. That's her first name actually. Last name is Bevanaki. But she, clearly is like, okay, cool. This seems like a small animal for you to ride. Is it for somebody else to ride?
It's not to ride. It's armor protection. This is
Oh,
my
I
battle
see.
plan.
You want protective barding. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. She, hurries back to the counter and grabs a length of rope. And kind of comes back and gives you the may I gesture. Like
And
this is a unique request and will require unique measurements.
yeah, of course.
Okay. So she
Buddy,
begins.
play nice.
Okay. So she goes to work very quickly and begins kind of, marking off the rope in certain sections and making markings on the rope to where she can begin to, judge. She'll ask, like, do these grow fast? Is this the size that he's going to be for some time? Is there going to be, you know, essentially what she needs to
That's
know
a
is like,
great question, actually.
yeah. Like, what level are you going to get to be able to go to a full adult bear? Question.
Let me check.
Are there
Probably
enchantments to
not
make?
until 4.
Are there enchantments to make clothes grow and stuff?
Correct. My plan is to take mature at 4.
Okay. What was your question, Shion?
Was there enchantments to make clothes grow and stuff like that?
I mean,
You can make it adjustable.
Yeah, couldn't you like make the straps longer so that like
there's
they'll make it bigger?
The problem would be at that point I would take completely different barding. I want specifically light barding for now, and then later on.
No problem. All right,
that
I just
might
want to make sure that this will suit you at least until
I won't be taking mature until 4.
Okay. So he kind of, begins sort of jotting some notes down, asks you, so you're looking for like a leather, a hard leather material?
Yep.
Okay. So she's, making some notes and, is clearly very excited about this whole thing. And, kind of when she gets done, she sets down her quill and paper and says, this is a custom order. It's very specific. And so it will be a little bit more expensive than normal. She's kind of looking at you to see if you understand that. So let's see.
I'm just like, yeah, of course.
Okay. So a normal cost would be 10 gold. And so because this is a special, it's probably 12.
And then so I'll dump my gold on the counter, and I'll be like, does this suffice? I have 25.
Okay. She
takes the rest as a tip.
Right, exactly. She's like, fortunately for you, this is exactly enough gold in order to be up. No, she kind of
Forrest has not dealt with money before, so he doesn't know
No.
what gold is.
Sure. So
yeah, he's just like, here's all my money.
Okay, so she's looks on you with a little bit of pity and says, okay, these shiny yellow ones are gold, right? And you know that there's 12 if you take one for each one of your fingers and then one for each one of your hands. And she just kind of, gently counts out 12 for you and just kind of, watches as you count with your fingers what 12 looks like. And
I have 112 left and 1 left.
That's good. That's good. That's
much appreciated.
Exactly. So you got 12 plus 1 left. And she kind of helps you put the rest of your gold back in your pouch. And she says, yeah, this will take probably 2 days if I kind of shut down the shop and just work on this, which I'd be really interested in doing. Does that work for you? Is this 2 days from now acceptable?
I suppose it'll have to suffice.
You want to maintain quality. That's what I could try and get it done speedily in a day, but it might affect the quality. It's up to you. Which would you prefer?
I will not argue with the professional.
Okay. All right. So so you know that that's going to reduce the movement speed by 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just make sure that that's noticed, or that's noted rather. Okay. Anybody else have any other shopping that they want to do?
It's not necessarily shopping. I did have a question. That necklace from earlier, I assume I'm attuned to it at this point.
Oh God, remind me of where you found it.
The necklace
the Taskmaster
with all the charms.
Yeah, it had the
Oh yeah,
various.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what's the actual name for it? So I can, know what it does.
I mean, it's a completely made up item that I've created
cool.
myself, and essentially, it has the ability to summon, any martial weapon or simple weapon, once a day.
Ooh.
So
cool.
every day you can just make a weapon if you want to.
Good to know. Good to know.
Nifty.
Thank you.
But it allows for a versatility of, if you wanted to make a javelin or whatever, you can make a javelin and throw it, and yeah. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Good to know. That was my question.
Yeah. There is also a rope and a crowbar on it, so you have access to those as well.
Okay.
Whenever you need it. Anybody else?
Yes.
What does Gib need?
Gib wants to go to Pillbug's Pantry.
Ah. And say?
And ask the owner if have any happy pillbugs turned up lately.
Okay. At the mention of that, his demeanor changes completely. And he goes over to the door, shuts the door, closes all the blinds, and then, without a word, pulls back a curtain behind the counter, where you see a trap door in the ground, and he kind of motions to that.
Yeah, sure. Can I ask him first? So Pillbug's Pantry, is that another one of the shops that is like what would you say, with potions and stuff like that, right?
Pillbox Pantry is another one of the shops with what now?
With potions and poisons and whatever.
Yeah. So basically, it's clear that he's telling you, hey, you need, he shut the shop down when you said it, right? And he's telling
heard
you,
the list, right?
get down, enter the secret layer, if you will.
Yeah, I will follow him.
Okay. So it's clear that he's looking for you to open it, right? So you open it, you head on down, and you can see that it's another shop underneath the shop. It's got it's all very sort of eerily lit and whatnot, but looks super cool. But you just see just a plethora of beautifully curated and perfectly manicured collection of all the most interesting, essentially poisons and or less than, nothing healing down here. This is all things for death, destruction, mayhem, etc.
Are there any bombs around too?
There's certainly bomb components, but there's no, there doesn't appear to be any that are fully put together.
And formulas? Does he offer those?
So you're asking about formulas?
Yes.
Yeah, so he goes back and brings back a huge tome and kind of sets it down with a large thud. Some dust kicks up and asks what it is that you're looking for.
I would like to see if we can tell me a formula for the moderate star grenade.
Moderate star grenade?
Yes, it's a level 3, but I cannot use yet, but I wanted to see if we can sell it already.
He can sell it to you, yes.
Nice.
Moderate
That's
star. I see it here. Okay. So okay, so there's a lesser, and then there's the moderate. That's got it. Okay.
yeah, but getting the lesser is well not
Yeah,
very
it's
helpful.
basically what you have right now, right? Or very similar to it. Yeah. He says it'll be 15 gold.
Can I haggle? I want to haggle.
You can try. How would you like? What skill would you like to deploy to haggle?
Diplomacy.
Okay. Go ahead and do a
Would just
diplomacy.
ask him if that's his last offer or if he can do any better than that.
Okay. You know, he says basically that this is
Or for a hero of Sandpoint.
Yep, right. You know, he kind of chuckles at the moniker of Hero of Sandpoint. But you know, says, "Look, hey, you did a solid. You left enough customers for me to be able to continue to do business. He can, but you have to understand that these are hard to come by, and I certainly can't get back to anybody that he's the one that you found it from. And so he'll knock off 2 gold, and so call it 13.
Yeah, I will take it for that.
Okay. So he kind of, you know, goes to the page, gets out a quill and paper, does some transcription for you, and rolls it up, puts a plastic seal on it. That's doesn't seem. It just seems like a normal seal. Doesn't have any sort of particular markings. You're gonna attack him?
No,
Right
that
away?
was a misclick.
And you know, hands it to you.
Yeah, I will thank him very much for the conducted trade and ask him how it comes he has another whole shop under his shop.
Well, I mean, as you can see, as he kind of does the, you know, waving hand gesture, that not everybody in town can appreciate the, how shall we say, more explosive elements of alchemy, and that I have to be very careful about who I do this type of business with.
Just
Everybody
seems that the town is rather small to have such a large variety to offer.
Yeah, we have travelers that come occasionally who understand that I'm a good purveyor, and as you know, in the underworld, we're everywhere, right? There's shops throughout all of Varisia that have, because when you're in need of such supplies, you're normally in need of them quickly. Are you not?
I always am.
Exactly. So we have to be everywhere at all times.
Well, I thank him again for the trade, and then I will leave.
Okay. So he leads you back upstairs, closes everything back up, kind of gets it all back to the way that it looked like previously, and then sort of reopens the shop, and you know, escorts you out. Tells you to come back if If you have any additional, specialty needs. Again, seems to be making a show of the fact that a hero of Sandpoint has left his shop.
I hope so.
Yep. Was there anybody else who had anything else that they wanted to do?
How many days was it you said?
Well, right now you're just at the evening before. The only period of time that anybody has kind of dedicated is 2 days for forest sparting.
Okay.
I would like to go to a weaponsmith to see about maybe like a small dagger.
Okay.
Something as like a backup weapon just in case.
Certainly. When you say a small dagger, you're basically talking about a dagger that's suitable for your size, or like you want to use a dagger as a short sword.
Either or.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it won't be my main weapon. It would just be a backup if my magic is
sure.
like not
Are you looking
available.
for a toothpick or a dagger?
Right. So a normal dagger is 2 silver, and you'd be able to find that in any of the normal shops. So you'd be fine with that.
So that I'll probably just get a normal dagger because
Okay.
a pixie-sized dagger probably wouldn't do much anyway.
Probably not. Probably go down even further than a D4.
This little thing is trying to give me acupuncture.
Could at least just break you off the end of one of my darts.
Right. That's right.
Is-
Those are long darts. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere that sells like enchanted stuff or magic stuff or anything like that in town?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I don't know how you're gonna afford something magical, but yeah, there's a magic place in town.
No, I'm just curious. Even
Is
if
it the
it's too
Pixie's
expensive.
Kitten? Is it a magical place?
Not that kind of magic.
Exactly.
Not
Now we're
that
talking.
kind of magic.
Yeah. Let's see. So
What magic do you mean?
Would the people there be able to teach magic?
I'm
Right.
window shopping basically.
Okay.
I want to learn a spell.
Would they be able to teach magic? Potentially. Let's see. I'm trying to find.
Oh yeah,
So
because
you have the Turin Dark Heart? No. Tarandarok. You've got the Tarandarok Academy, which is. Let's see. Oh, that's just a. Academy is a place to handle the education of the town's children. Okay, so that's not close enough. Let's see. Shops and businesses. Let's see. Bottled Solutions, right? It's gonna have some. Reg Dog Smithy. Let's see. Let's see here. So Bottled Solutions, Nistander. Wide range of alchemical concoctions and supplies. All right, so that's more that. So Hannah's is like natural curatives and recipes. So if you were looking for something that had some like healing properties, there's a chance that they might have something there. Yeah, okay. The Northway is probably not it. Yeah, the Feathered Serpent is probably, if you were looking for some like a piece of equipment with some sort of enchantment on it, might be your best bet.
Okay, that sounds the closest of all the options.
And what are you trying? You're just looking for stuff?
Yeah, I'm window shopping.
Yeah, I mean, you find that there's a fair number of things there that are available for you to purchase. And essentially, the way that enchantment works in this game is that there's runes, right? And then there's like primary runes and secondary runes. That's not their actual names, but basically like for armor, right? You have +1, right? And that adds like to the armor, and then you can add another rune to that rune, right? And there's so like for level 1 through I think it's 7 runes, you can attach to a +1 rune, and then if you want to go to the higher level runes, you have to have a +2 rune is the way that it starts. So anything that's, so essentially like you could find, let's see, rune cost. Here we go. So like a +1 rune, right, to armor is 340 gold, right? So that's a resilient rune. For a weapon, right, a +1 weapon is 65 gold.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's to etch striking. That's to get +1 plus striking, and striking adds a damage die, I believe. Striking runes, striking magic. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like one die of whatever it already has. I
yeah.
believe.
So if like a +1 dagger, right, just a regular +1 dagger would do 1d4 plus 1.
2d4.
But a +1 dagger of striking does 2d4 plus 1. So, but
Interesting.
you have to have the +1 rune on it in order to add striking to it, right? Similarly, if you want to go to greater, so then if you want to do greater striking, you have to add a +2 first. So you can't have a +1 greater striking weapon. You have to
I
do the
see.
+2 first, right?
Oh, I
Uh,
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting weapon is +1. Improved weapon is +1 striking. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, what's cool about it is if you get like a sword or a weapon that has a +1 in it, you can remove that rune and put it onto a new weapon. Or if you have a +1 weapon and then you get another weapon that is a +1 with something else really cool on it, let's say it's flaming or something like that, you can you can swap runes around to where they're interchangeable essentially. There's a
Interesting.
small cost associated with that, but it's a fraction of the cost of if you were going to go buy it, right? So like a +3 major greater striking weapon is 30,000 gold, right? And it's only available at level 19. So, you got to really save up for a while to get one of those.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But like armor, so like a +1 armor, oh yeah, so there's fundamental runes, and then etch runes, I think. Property runes. That's what it
Yes.
is. Property runes. So fundamental and then property. Fundamental are the +1, +2, +3. Property is the striking, resilient. There's all sorts of property runes. Yeah. So there's different things that you can put into them. Yeah, you can transfer runes between 2 items. This uses the craft activity. Must be able to craft magical items, but you can pay somebody else to do that, right? To swap runes, both must be fundamental runes or both must be property runes. So you can't put 2 +1s on the same item essentially.
Oh, and there's a lot of different runes.
Yeah. Oh, there's tons. As far as the property runes are concerned. Yeah, there's a ton. Really cool stuff that's available.
Okay. I'll probably just need to look at this for a while then.
Okay. So yeah, so basically here, right, anything that's under 100 gold would be available. If it's over 100 gold, it's not going to be here.
I see. So if it's over
Or there's a
100 gold in
chance.
the website or whatever, it's not
Yeah.
even in their store.
If it's over 100 gold, it won't even be here. And if it's under, there's a chance I'll roll it and see if you get it. Essentially, it's there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not going to make an entire inventory list for this particular shop. And
Especially since somebody might come by and just steal it all tomorrow. or
right,
something.
that too.
Bliss.
Yeah.
What?
Ah,
Spoken like a true thief. Exactly. How
Yeah.
dare you? cast dispersions my way.
Yep.
Shame on you. Okay, so Rakana, Rose, Daisy. Oh, Daisy said you wanted to learn a spell. What's the spell that you're trying to learn?
Briny Bolt.
Briny Bolt?
Yeah.
Is in like salt
Seawater.
brine?
Yeah.
Seawater brine?
Salt water.
Okay. How
That's an actual spell. Wow.
Okay, that's a new one for me. Let's take a look. What is the... So that's arcane or primal. Okay.
I have an enchantment for you. When you get to level 13, I guess. Never mind.
Fabulous. Okay. Yeah, what I would say is Broderick Quint might be able to teach that to you. Let's find out. Do you want to go ask him about it?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, he says he's familiar with it. He asks if you're a pirate.
What?
He asks if you're a pirate.
No.
Okay, he wants to make sure that he's not teaching this particular spell. This spell could be particularly lethal in the hands of somebody who's into piracy. So he wants to make sure that that's not you. And so yeah, he's able to teach it to you.
Tell him that you're an honest privateer and you deride these aspersions.
Let's see. Privilege. Learn spell activity. Okay, so there's a learn spell activity that you have to do.
Yeah.
And the cost is based on the level of the spell, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Learn spell, and you're doing Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 hour. You've got that time. Materials with the price indicated. All right, so I need table 4-3. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. Page 504. Oh, you're gonna have to do a. You're gonna have to do a skill check. That'll be fun. Let me find. I gotta just find this. It doesn't tell me where the table is. Interesting. It just tells me it's table 4-3. Eventually, we will find our way to. Correct. Got a bunch of table 10s. What the hell? Okay. Okay. I think I can find. I can do this. So it's probably in chapter 4. Yeah, there we go. We are playing Dungeons and Accounting. Okay. So 2 gold. All right. Well, that was anticlimactic. All right. 2 gold and a DC 15 difficulty level. So you need to roll your uncommon or rare spells. Higher DC. Well, actually, Briny Bolt is. Doesn't say that it's uncommon or rare that I can see. So you're good there.